Updates on the Department of Social Welfare and Development's food stamp program were discussed during the sectoral meeting this morning, where President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. approved the pilot and full implementation of the projects under this program. Aside from this, the President also tasked the DSWD in coordination with the Health Department to look into the nutritional value of the food that would be given to the program beneficiaries. Bukod sa target beneficiaries na bottom 1 million households, pinatitiyak din ng Pangulo na mapabilang sa programa ang mga single parent, pregnant, and lactating women para ma-address ang first 1,000 days advocacy. To give us more details about this, we are joined by DSWD Secretary Rex Gatchalian and recently appointed Health Secretary Dr. Ted Herbosa.
So as mentioned by Daphne, the President approved the run of the pilot, which is fully funded through grants. Grants from the ADB, JICA, and the French Development Agency. So that will be $3 million all in all. There's a provision to expand it. ADB is still working on other trust funds so that we can expand the pilot. But other than that, it's all green lights go na for the pilot, which will take place shortly. From the pilot, we will see the nuances. What needs to be improved, what needs to be enhanced, what needs to be discontinued. It'll run for 6 months. We are doing the pilot so that we don't end up with wasteful spending. We want to make sure that when we do expand the program on its regular run, even if the President already approved it, we want to learn from the pilot and we want to start right. That was the takeaway.
Hearing the program, it's my first cabinet meeting, so it's very interesting. Of course, I didn't know the planning of this, but hearing it, it actually jives, no? Katulong talaga sa for the poorest 1 million, be able to give them food stamps so that they will have nutritious food. So that was the first question of the President. Make sure that the food that is given is of nutritional value. So that's our role. So we have the National Nutrition Council, the FNRI, that can actually take care of studying it. The second question to Secretary Rex is, hunger and being poor are very subjective ideas, and how do you measure them objectively? This President wants it measured objectively. So I countered, sir, actually we've been working with DSWD. Health actually is the measure of stunting and malnutrition. So what happens if there's a feeding program, for example, like the food stamp program, we will locate through our partners and the LGU, locate who are the mildly malnourished, moderately malnourished, and severely malnourished. And there are medical parameters of who to say they are. We use the weight, the height, the mid-upper arm circumference, or the MUA. And what we'll do is make sure that we monitor that the food stamp program is changing the people that are severely malnourished will, after some time of this food stamp, will become moderately, mildly, until they're no longer malnourished. And this is very important, I told the President. Most of this feeding program isn't recovered, the effects of malnutrition and stunting. You don't recover it like a wound that heals. It's a permanent. So if you want a human capital or mga tao, citizens na magtatrabaho and they're intelligent, they will pass school, you really need to feed them well during their early life years. Kasi dun yung growth and development na kailangan nila. So I think we will be in full support, and I think my seatmate, Secretary Ben-Hur, said, kami gagawa niyan. Sabi niya, kami gagawa niyan. Kasi the implementation of the food stamp is at the local chief executive. So nagtuhog-tuhog na, and we will all help each other with this really good program for food stamps and hunger.
Sir, update lang po sa ongoing food distribution sa Albay since the permanent danger zone has been expanded. Mas marami ng evacuees. Kamusta po ang ating mga evacuees there?
Okay, first of all, the President is monitoring the situation carefully. We've been in constant communication since last week, almost on a daily or hourly basis, about his directives on making sure that lahat ng mga na-evacuate ay may pagkain. Alam naman natin ang pagpapatakbo ng evacuation centers are the responsibilities of the local government unit. But the DSWD, upon instruction of the President, will give them or gave them the necessary logistic support. I was there last Saturday, met with Governor Rex Lagman, together with the 9 affected or will be affected LGUs to include the city of Legazpi. So ang naging agreement namin doon, the first 5 waves ng pagkain, a wave is 3 days. At that time, ang target natin, 8,000 families. that will be around close to 26,000, 27,000 na food packs na bigyan na natin sa kanila. So meaning it's already with them. So the first 5 waves, they're covered na. You can do the math lang, medyo mahina ako but it's in here. 8,000 families yan, all in all. 5 waves already accounted for. So nasa kamay na ng mga local government units natin yan. 38,000, sorry, it's around 38,000 na food packs ang hawak na ng various local government units to include the provincial government. Now, bakit first 15 muna? Kasi yung next 6 naman na days, provincial government ang sasagot. So, sabi nila, we want to complement each other's resources rather than overlap each other's resources. Now, pagtapos ng 6 days nila, that brings us to 21 days, papasok ulit ang DSWD with another 15 days. So, it's wave after wave. Then, that will bring us close to 45 days, which is historically the minimum, or minsan nangyayari pa rin eruption na hanggang 45 days lang. Now, what if it protracts to 90 days? The DSWD will again sit down with the LGU to make sure na meron kami ulit na arrangement as to who feeds on what days. So bottom line natin dito, lahat ng nilikas ng mga lokal na pamahalaan na nasa evacuation center, hawak na ng kanilang mga alkalde, ng kanilang mga local officials yung food for the next 15 days. And then after which, the provincial government will step in. Now alam natin na yung mga food pack na yan, hindi naman yan lahat ng pangangailangan mo nandun sa loob kasi typical yan eh. Pero so again, balik tayo kung mayroon kang anak na maliit na kailangan ng gatas so and so forth. Nag-uusap na rin kami ng local government upon the instruction of the President na baka kailangan sustentohan rin natin o ayudahan natin ang financial assistance. So nag-uusap at mag-uusap pa ulit ni Governor kung paano at kailan natin ipamamahagi ang financial assistance at kung magkano. We are always in communication with Governor Greg Selectman. We are also talking to the congressional representation of Albay so to get all the varying inputs kung paano pa tayo makakatulong.